again. Welcome to another episode of the Going Over podcast. I believe we are at number 76. Whew. I am one of your co-hosts, your neighborhood-friendly coach, trainer, promoter, 43-year-old professional wrestler, Zack Primetime Reeb. And I'm joined alongside, as always, my podcast partner, the 6', 12-inch wrecking ball, Paul Isadora. And Paul, today, welcome back to the program. Another coach, trainer, promoter, owner, and the man who just put on the NorCal United biggest seminar. Welcome back to our good buddy, my good buddy, the Big Ugly. What's up, Gabe?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for having me back, guys. It's been far too long.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man. We're just like, obviously, we're just on the heels of this huge seminar, man. And I think, we're sad that we didn't get to take part. I know it was one of those things where we were a part of the plans at the beginning, and then it's like you can't pass it up when you have however many 16, 18 guys that are like well qualified that can do it and two guys that can't. So it's like you can't be like, oh shit, man, we can't do it with these two guys when we have this, super team of other guys that are gonna get it done. So tell us a little bit about it, man, because I know it's like obviously it was an exciting thing. You had mentioned like you guys were expecting more people, but these guys got such a great opportunity. Less people equals more ring time, more time with these trainers and things like that. So tell us a little bit about it, man. Give us kind of the overview of what happened. And I think we've got some other questions that we want to ask as well.
It's been something I've been contemplating for a while. When I was, like many people, when I first broke in, there was what at the time was called Cauliflower Alley, and they used to do a 3-day training session. And then it was more of a politic thing anyways, but they'd pick some guys from the seminar to be on the show for the things. And it's evolved from far from that now for Cauliflower Alley. Alongside that, I used to do a lot of football clinics when I coached. We'd be there for 3 days doing different defensive, offensive linemen and all these different things. And so I've always wanted to do something with wrestling like that because I thought it would be just really good for all the young talent in the area. And I finally was like, you know what? I'm fucking going in for a neck surgery. I'm going to be sitting on my ass for a while. I got to do something else for the business. So I just started making calls, seeing if people could possibly do it and who was interested in doing it. And then it kind of evolved from there. And it kind of just started as this small thing. And then as I started putting more thought into it and started getting more people wanting to be into it, it became a bigger thing than I thought it was going to be.
That's first off, Gabe. How is the neck?
It's doing all right. It's still I'm having trouble, turning both ways, and I'm really range of motion is really bad, and like if I'm on my phone for this too long, I get up and I'm just like, oh fuck, it gets all tight and shit. It's my low back is the problem right now. I'm going in for the epidural shots next month, and if those don't help the pain, they're either going to recommend surgery or I live on narcotics for the rest of my life. So neither one of them I want to do, but I just want to be able to go to the gym. I'm not too much in the mood to wrestle anymore. I could take it or leave it. But I just want to be able to go to the gym and be pain free, so, but yeah, I'm my spirits are up. I really needed this weekend to work and it did. So I'm really happy with that.
That's the coolest thing. One thing that really got me was it was like you had all three of your kids there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were excited about having all three of your kids there. I mean, Paul honestly says like, you expected more. When I saw the group photo, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you see the group photo, you're like, if you got any more, do you need really? I'm just asking, like, do you need a fourth ring or another? You know what I mean, or another station?
There's a lot of things that went on. Why I thought there was going to be more and why there wasn't more. I don't really want to start shit with the NorCal wrestling scene. I mean, I'll tell you guys off air, but the original plan was to have 3 rings. The red ring is my old ring. I think Paul's been there many a time.
Right.
The little one The little one was my current ring that I have for training and bar shows, and the middle ring was SPW's ring. But we were going to have Matt sit up on the side, and Thatcher was going to do his seminar on the mats because he's a catch guy anyways. But there was certain trainers of schools, let's say, that were offended that I didn't ask them to be in it, and kind of persuaded some of their guys not to go to the camp. So, like I said, it is what it is. So I expected it closer to 75 to 80. We ended up having 50. It was like 50-51 with a couple reps, but so it ended up being really good. Like I said, the guys got more time in the rings and stuff, but I thought there was going to be more people. And I just don't think a lot of the young talent knew what they were missing out on. There was a lot of people, with the exception of the trainers and you guys, not a lot of people know who Oliver John is, and it's a fucking shame. I've always said that, like, there's a lot of us that could claim we're the best trainer in NorCal, but all of us agree that it's Oliver John. That if he ran a school, that we'd probably all would shut down. The guy's that fucking good. And I think the biggest mistake I made was exposing him to everybody, because now everybody wants me to bring him in all the time, and I just can't. But the dude's so good. So I thought more people would come, but I think a lot of people they missed the boat on being able to train with him. And then when you have Thatcher there as well, and then Vinny. And then, you throw the Samoans in, Mustafa. And then, by the way, Bonsai Bruce was there for doing referee stuff, which actually the wrestlers got a lot out of Bruce being there and doing stuff with him. And then we happen to have a little guy named Jeff Cobb just show up on the fucking blue, So I was telling people, like, guys were offended I didn't ask them, but fuck, I didn't run a seminar either. And I consider myself a good trainer. I didn't even run a seminar because there was so much talent there doing it. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I wish it had gone a little differently with certain people, but I wish you guys could. You guys are one of the first ones I called, of course, to be when I first started thinking about this. But yeah, I expected more to be there. There wasn't, but I think there's more people kicking themselves in the ass right now that they didn't go, because there was so much positive feedback on the actual seminar. And then West Coast had a ring rental, so like 6 of their students had to go do that. So and then of course, like, there's 3 of them in Japan right now too. So it's like we missed out a couple there. But yeah, I just thought there'd be a little bit more, but. I didn't see one person leave unhappy, so that's all I really wanted. The trainers got paid for their time, and, it was a really good experience, man. Like I said, what's going on in my life right now, I really needed that to pop off. And there's not a lot of stuff that I'm proud of next to my kids, but that's one of them that I got to do that, this weekend,
Absolutely. So we were trying to kind of figure out the, kind of the logistics of everything. So I guess at first when you were telling us about it, I was thinking it was going to be like 1-hour seminars, like a rotation. I thought it was going to be like, you're working with this person at this seminar, and you're getting this information for 1 hour. And then you go to a next seminar and 1 hour like that. So how did the whole thing go down, as far as like when you first got there? Where were you at, and then where did you go from there, and how much time did you get to spend with each one of the trainers at this? I'm thinking, like, for you're trying to do this in the future, right? So yes. What can people expect? Like, let's say people weren't there, the 2 of us, obviously the biggest ones that want to know, but what can people expect on this thing next year? Like, what does it look like? How can they kind of prepare themselves for what they're going to be in for, and what should they expect? Things like that.
The first, like I said, when I put it on the drawing board and I was putting stuff together, I originally had, you guys in the ring, Timmy over here, fucking Vinny doing his thing, fucking everybody had an area, the promos, and we were just going to do like 7 groups and just constantly rotating. Take a break, come back, and do it again. And then I wanted to do a show on the ass end of it. Talking to when Scoot Robinson actually helped me out a lot getting the building, because it's their building. When we talked to the owner, I think Scoot kind of wanted the hours that they had for their shows, and I kind of was, okay, that's fine, let's do it. So the way I originally envisioned it was we'd start at like 8 a.m. and do a session, and so there was more time. When I was talking to the owner, he was like, "Oh, so you guys want to do it at 11 o'clock? You want to get in?" And I was just like, "I guess, I fucking, I guess." So a lot of it had to change because of time. We just didn't have the time. We had to be out of there at a certain time, and so I had to, really get rid of the show because there just wasn't going to be enough time. Or I would have the students do 3 sessions and then a fucking show, which this this thing was, I designed it not for the show. That was just something that we got to do to hang out with each other and do something with each other. I wanted the NorCal Greenhorns, or even the guys who've been wrestling for a while, to experience all the training that people were going to provide. So I just like, let's get rid of the show and do a session. So I had planned it a little differently. I had to take a different form. So I basically said, well, we have 3 rings. We're not going to do the mats. We'll do 3 rings. I'll do 2 trainers in each ring. That'll be on an hour-long rotation. So, and then we'll do what we called, I named each area. One was the money pit, and that's where Shane and Flocka were doing their character development and promos, because I feel they're 2 of the best at that stuff. So they would rotate every hour there. The small ring was going to be the strong style ring. That was Vinny and Timmy's ring. So they would rotate every hour. The middle ring was what we call squad up, because it was the Savages teaching all tag team stuff, and then SPW was supposed to teach battle royals, fucking multi-man matches, and all that bullshit. That, I feel that whenever somebody's a greenhorn, they throw them in a battle royal, and then these fuckers don't know how to get thrown over the top, or they don't know that, hey, we shouldn't run a spot right here when there's fucking 20 people in the ring, So
right.
They went over that, and the last ring was the Legends ring, and I kind of was like, if anybody knows Mustafa and Oliver John, you don't tell them what they're going to teach. They just do their thing. And it's always right. They're always right. And Oliver John, from what I kind of talked about doing, he did his own thing and it was better. Mustafa, Jamal showed up late, so he did one session and he did, Jamal stuff. He started conditioning people at fucking 4:00 in the afternoon, but that's just Jamal or Mustafa, but so it kind of changed form on the way I did it, even through it, I kind of had each guy working stuff, but as with the students were moving through the sessions, like Vinny walks up to me and he's like, hey boss, these guys can't do tackles. Like, I can't teach them this stuff if they can't even fucking lock up. So I said, hey, just do what you feel you need to do. So I didn't take into account the different levels of people that were going to be there. We had one guy that never even been in the ring before. He was a fan. He wanted to try it, so we made do it. I had some guys who've been there a couple of weeks, a couple of months. I had guys who've been wrestling 6 years and couldn't fucking do the waltz, couldn't circle upright, So it's like there was a different fucking level on different people, And so a lot of it I just took as I'm writing down everything that we could change for next year and everything we did well. So it kind of evolved. And even the last sessions we were supposed to do, I was just looking around and seeing how drained people were, because it was fucking hot in there. Just how tired people were getting. And I was like, well, before people start getting hurt, let's condense this last hour and a half and go a little shorter. So we just condensed some stuff at the end, and it worked. I had Bruce pick refs and he critiqued them as guys wrestled matches. And we did a promo off and I made him do a complimentary promo off because, everybody tries to bury each other with promo. So I had him do it like complimenting each other, and it was a good way to end it all, but so it changed some. We're going to do it differently next year. I plan on having one ring where I think we're going to end up going 4 to 5 rings next year. And I want to have one ring that's totally for guys who've been wrestling, who if you guys bring up kids, I'm saying, give me some kids who you think are fucking legit pros already. And we'll put them all in one group. And whoever I bring in as the name, he'll work with them. And they'll just go over match shit, pro shit to get them signed. And then everybody else that's not in that group is a fucking greenhorn. And they're going to start lockup, waltz, tackle, and shit like that,
So for next year, first off, I want to give a shout. There was only one PCW shirt in attendance, and she had to leave early. So I want to give a shout out to referee Karina Kyle first off, because I got to throw. I saw one PCW shirt. I was pretty excited about that. Next year, Gabe, I think me and Paul are going to have our own ring, and it's going to have to be fucking squash matches. I just wanted to throw this is how we beat. I want to beat the fuck out of all the young kids. That's I'm demanding that right now on this program. But one thing I wanted to talk about is you mentioned Oliver John, and we all talk about a lot of people didn't know who Ollie was, and I had the privilege of Ollie getting back into wrestling and for a year and a half doing it at what was the PCW work farm. So I got 3 days a week with this motherfucker, you know what I mean? Which really has helped with my detail and how I furthered my training even to this day right here. And one thing is I'm heading home and Spark messages me. It's like midnight. And he's like, hey, man, are you up? Because I'm up. And I called him and he was telling me about And you just mentioned it right here. You said there's guys who've been in the fucking business for 6 years that A, don't even know how to waltz, or B, what a waltz is. And they don't know what a collar and elbow tie-up is. And I am so adamant about you. I hate the do-si-do arm drag, and I hate it because it doesn't come out of a collar. And we're supposed to not let go of the collar. And I want to know, I want to hear about Ollie's ring. I also want to hear about the real story of what Ollie did in there. But the only thing that I noticed that I would change next year, and this is no offense to anybody, is in those rings, I would put to start out, because you talk about stretching the guys out, getting everybody to get on a progression drill curriculum. You know what I mean? Like everybody line up and have them all in all those rings. Everybody do the progression drills and yell them back as a team. That was the only thing that I really noticed. But I want to hear about because Sparky was saying Ollie really worked on rounds and rounds of walking around and waltzing around and locking up, and you just said that. And then I'm just very interested because a lot of people said I was gravitating towards the Oliver, and I understand why. But please explain to me what Ollie had going on over there.
When I obviously knew I was going to book him, I knew I had to book around certain things because I knew everybody, like every trainer was going to tell their students to go to Oliver John's seminar. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to have classes with one person in it, you know, or nobody in a class. You know, everybody's going to want to go to Oliver or Thatcher because it's Thatcher, you know. So I had this idea to kind of put them into groups and switch them up. But like I said, it kind of evolved into certain things. But Ollie was with the first, I think he was the first seminar in the first group of seminars. And he was kind of under the impression, well, we're just going to see what they got, the first group. And he locked up with them. And lo and behold, the first person he locked up with was somebody who's been training 4 months and didn't know anything. So then as he started doing the waltz and explaining what it was, you just watching everybody like, holy shit, like I've never had anybody tell me this before. I've never heard of this. Like I've never been told this way. So all it goes with a couple of guys. And, you know, like my plan was to have the trainers instruct, not fucking Oliver John, takes off his shirt and gets in there, locking up with everybody. And he does the drill with the whole fucking group, you know, and the whole time he's the guy they're working with the whole time one-on-one. And as they go through one time, they get the lockup, and he's like, now we're going to lock up and then take the head. And then it was basically like the first start of the first minute and a half of everybody's match. When you start off, lock up, take the head. And he just did that every time. When I sent him a new group, he's like, hey, we're just going to work on this. So it's pretty much the whole time it was the same thing he was doing. Lock up, take the head. Maybe he worked a wrist lock or something like that. But there's some video of him training where, like, at one point, Titus comes over to me and he's like, fuck, Dad, that guy's so fucking good. You know, Titus is training up with Marufuji and fucking Muda and shit up there in Japan. And he's like, that guy's so fucking good. He's like, I'm learning so much. And like I told the story about Scoot, I was looking for Scoot to yell at him about something, and he's in the fucking ring training. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, and he goes, man, boss, I'm way behind. And I was like, you run a fucking school. But then as I watch Oliver, because Oliver came to my school the week before and trained my guys, so my guys didn't have to take the camp that day. And I was sitting there watching going, holy fuck. Like this fucking guy just, all this shit that I'm watching him going like, man, I forgot to fucking show him that. I forgot to say that. You know, he's so attention to detail orientated. And it was like that the whole night. Like I had to tell him, dude, take this fucking seminar off. Let somebody else go. Like Mustafa didn't show up on time. And he's like, I'll do it. I'm like, dude, Oliver, just fucking get some water in you. You know, fucking sit down, relax, go see what everybody else is doing. And then Titus ran the camp, and he came back in and taught like 2 more after that. So I think Oliver ended up teaching like 4 seminars, and they were full to the gills every time, you know, just because everybody just was like, they started hearing other people talk about it on breaks and shit. So everybody started wanting to go, you know, and I threw an extra one on just so everybody could train with him a little bit, you know. But yeah, he just taught the most basic of shit, in which I was like, you know, all of us, we can all agree that, yeah, most people don't know how to lock up properly. Most people don't know why they lock up, you know. After that class with Oliver, they all fucking know how to do it and why they do it. More importantly, why they do it, you know. So it was just amazing. And then you go from him, and, you know, and Thatcher's teaching his class, and he's telling everybody, yeah, after this, go to Oliver's class. So, you know, Timmy's sending fucking 20 guys over there, and then the next group has guys lined up ready to go. So yeah, it was just crazy, man, to watch him do what he does. And we've all seen him do it before, and the guy's always been so far above everybody else, and I'm glad people got to see that. I just wish he could train more, to make my job easier. Look.
Right, exactly. I was just trying to think back of the last time I was in the same building as Oliver, and I think it was at the Colonial. And I'm trying to think of what it was. You brought him in to run a seminar at the beginning of a
we
show.
were doing that. It was that first show the dojo did there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and we brought him in, and I think he was supposed to do commentary, but the commentary people fucking, it was fucking Zack's guys. Both their grandmas got sick or fucking were in the hospital or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck? Both you guys? But yeah, I forgot what
that's the camera guys.
It was the camera guys.
Doc Haywood's commentary. Doc would have showed up in a shiny fucking jacket.
No, I had
stole
AJ.
The show,
I had AJ Kirsch and Oliver were supposed to do commentary. But my whole plan was to get people to train. I would say, hey, Oliver's going to run a camp. Whoever wins the camp, we'll put the two people he picks will be on the show in a match one or something like that. So he picked a couple people, and they got to be on the show, But yeah, that's what his purpose was. Yeah, that was that first one we did at the Colonial for the dojo.
Right. I just remember, because I feel like I hadn't seen him for years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, and then all of a sudden he's just in there, and it's just like you just described, shirt off, he's in there tying up with these guys and
bumping outside,
moving them around,
taking them out, like, hey, that body drop on the ground, like, what the fuck, Oliver, shit, like,
right, exactly. So, so I guess a good question is, you said that there was a lot of mix of different skill levels. Yeah. So, how do you think you're going to arrange that differently? Do you think you would put all super green guys together, so it's like those guys are all learning super basic stuff, and then maybe guys that have been around for a little bit longer, but as I'm saying this, obviously you just said this, that even guys that have been around for 6 years didn't know how to lock up. So I mean, maybe how do you judge that? How do you separate these guys so they're training with guys that are actually on their level?
Lock up, Paul. Come on.
Just to do that. That's all you do.
I'm hoping that the trainers of these schools could tell me who's ready to be in, to work matches. Most of the guys, NorCal, I know who they are. If not, enough of my guys know who they are, or I've seen them on their videos, which sometimes I hate watching the videos, but sometimes I see them on there, But next year I plan on having some guys from SoCal down. I've already talked to a couple of guys from down there, so hopefully their trainers will say, yeah, these guys are ready for this, I'm just going to try to do a better job of weeding people out. I kind of know already, from my guys who I would put in that group, and who Oasis would put in that group, who West Coast would put in that group, guys like Jaya Jewel and JT and, Salem and Titus, and those people that are working all over the place would be in that group. So then there's other people that are, a little lower level that I would say, just take the greenhorn stuff, because you need to work on that, So I'll have one group of kind of guys show ready, where I feel, we all kind of feel big show ready, and then guys that just need to work on some stuff, and they're just going to have to mix in with the greenhorns, the guys who are brand new, because it's going to be basic shit. I can't get Vinny and Oliver to teach anything but fundamentals, because it's just ingrained in their head. Everybody needs fundamentals, I had one guy who's been on the circuit for a while who went and was doing it and was just shitting the bed, just awful. And I'm just thinking, I told you guys, this guy's fucking awful, but he's has belts and shit, and fucking, he's just, so I just, I'm going to try to do a better job of doing that, of getting them put into groups, and, just having to break some hearts. Listen, you're not fucking ready. You're just not ready for this group. But I would hope that sometimes if these guys would see a group with, where I have fucking Titus in there and fucking Charlie and guys like that, and they're like, yeah, I'm not ready for that shit yet, so, like I said, I'm just gonna have to try to do a better group of weeding people out. Like I said, hopefully the trainers kind of have my back on it and just would be honest with me, and of course more rings, and then this time I'll probably have more trainers this time as well.
Right. So if you do more rings, do you try to do it at that same venue, or do you try to find something else? How do you fit all of that? Because I was trying to think about how you're going to fit 3 rings in that the place that SPW uses, but obviously it was all right, and
they got a bigger one.
And then didn't Shane and Flocka, were they outside the plexiglass?
They were by the front where people walk in. There's a area, a big whiteboard, and kind of where people take tickets. It's a big area, where they usually store shit, but the rings were also they were just up there, but a table and whiteboard and fucking bunch of chairs. I mean, there's plenty of room up there, you know. And that was the actual back, so nobody was coming in that way. They all came in through the big gate. But yeah, like when I was talking to Scoot and the owner about it, and then when I had talked to the owner on the side, he's telling me, he's like, "Oh, you guys can set up at 2 a.m. if you want." I was like, "Well, what the fuck?" Like, if you would have told me this, we could have set up fucking like 5 in the morning and ran more stuff. And as we're going on, I walk over because I had told everybody, you know, bring your own lunch. There's not going to be enough time, because I was envisioning fucking soccer games going on every 5 minutes. There was nothing in there. So the whole big arena was empty.
Oh, wow.
And I told him, he's like, yeah, usually at this time of the year, everybody's playing soccer outside because we can't get people to come. And I was like, well, could we just rent that space out next time? He's like, sure. So we would just take the bigger field next year.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got the bigger field, and I think it's a perfect hub, Gabe, because like if you think about the Sacramento airport, it's not too far from the San Francisco Bay. It's almost the common ground where everybody can meet in the middle right there.
Yeah.
To go. I think, yeah, you're going for next year. You're doing that. What really excited me, you just said it about Scoot, you said it about Samurai, and me and you have known each other a while, and we've had a lot of conversations between me and you when we see each other. And I am so adamant about the basics and the fundamentals, man, because I believe any trained monkey, and I hate to say this, but I believe any trained monkey can run around and do all the moves and everything, man. It's all depending on athleticism. The meat and potatoes, man, the hardest stuff that we can do in this business is learn, why are we doing this? Yeah. Why do I have this headlock? Oh, I have this hammerlock, this submission hold that could rip somebody's fucking shoulder off. Why did I pull them to a headlock? Did I pull them to a headlock just because I saw this piece of chain wrestling, which we're not supposed to disconnect? Or is he actually trying to counter the hold? So now I have to grab another hold to move this chain along. Like, I just feel like I'm just so glad to hear that so many people, especially with the Ollie thing, which I saw a long time ago, these guys need to know why the fuck we're doing this is what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. No, a lot of times it's just they see a spot, or they see they're on YouTube Shorts or fucking whatever their social media is, and they see spots, because that's all people wanted to get, likes and views, is spots, you know. And then they want to watch that and go in class and practice that, and then go fucking do it on a show. Never watching the small shit, you know. Like my students, at least every month I put up the first minute and a half of every Steven Regal and Fit Finley match, or every Benoit and Angle match. And I just tell them, like, look, this is the first minute and a half, and we could pick this apart on everything they do, but you're not even noticing. You know, you're not even noticing when, you know, Benoit or like Regal's going for grabbing the wrist and going underneath. Finley's grabbing the face, grabbing the shoulder, cutting the distance off. They don't notice that. They want to get to the high spot, you know. So I have to relay to them that the guys who were considered the best do the small things. And they pick it up, but still they want to get to the fucking spot shit, you know. So it's hard, but when you have everybody who's a highly reputable trainer telling you this, they're more likely to listen, you know. But the problem is there's not enough people at shows telling them that's fucking stupid, don't do it. You know, like on my show, my kids were just talking about it today. They're telling me, dude, you tell everybody, hey, what are you doing in your match? And they'll fucking tell you, like, well, why are you doing that? Cut all that shit out and feel what the fans are telling you. You know, I'm like, why are you calling this fucking chain shit? Or, you know, lock up and just go. Just feel it. Have a spot or something. That's fine. You can't stop that shit. You know, you can't stop these people from canning a fucking spot. But they need to at least be able to go in there and feel what the fuck's going on. You know, like you see they snap me a rear chin lock and they just sit there. Okay, we're waiting for that spot we canned in back. There's no fucking struggling, no switching. There's none of that shit, because they didn't go over that and back. They went over okay, I'm gonna whip you off. Duck, pass by, leapfrog, pass by again, tackle here, super kick here, no sell the cutter, flip up, coordinated destroyer, no sell that, and then we hit a double punch or something. You know, like.
Well, none of that matters unless the crowd's fucking making noise. I was talking to someone the other day about this. Like, why would we even engage to lock up if they're not reacting? Like, if I send a fucking heel out there and there's nothing, and then the baby face is in the ring, my biggest pet peeve is when the baby face starts going And then the heel goes, oh, shut up, shut up. It's like, if it took the baby face doing the cheap little clappy thing to wake you up to react to be the bad guy, get the fuck out of the ring, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing, man. And you talked about that previously, and I was talking the other day about this. I've kind of figured wrestling out, right? And wrestling is this. The weird thing is the heel is waiting for the noise to come up. And when the noise comes up for the heel, he doesn't want to do shit. He wants to soak that heat in. Then when the noise comes back down, then he goes back to work on the baby. And the baby's the opposite. When he hears that noise start to rise, that's his cue to, I'm going to do something now. And when that noise comes back down for the baby, he goes back to selling. And I just feel like we talk about the basics and fundamentals, but we also have to talk to these guys like, you said it. I got a headlock on you. We're settled down here. If I rise up because the crowd's not reacting to me yet and we go to that spot that you talked about, we went to that spot for no fucking reason. But if we just wait, they're not making no noise, okay, now I'll take you lower to the mat. Okay, now I'm listening, chalking a little shit. Now they start, come on, kid, time to come up. Now we can do your fucking canned spot in the back. So talk to me about because I never really get your opinion or your thoughts on the actual ear and how we're doing all of this, not for ourselves, but for what the fucking, we're waiting for that audience to make that noise so we can respond and react to them, man.
Well, I always tell my guys, like, listen, the audience, and I know that there's fans watching, they're always going to shit on what I say, but when you think about it critically, the audience are fucking sheep. They know when they're supposed to cheer. They know what they're supposed to do. So if you get somebody down in a rear chin lock, which I hate, that's everybody's go-to when we're on the fucking ground. They go to rear chin lock and they just fucking sit there. And, grind it and stuff like that. If they're not cheering, it's because you're not fucking working. The baby face is not in any threat of fucking losing. He's usually sitting there or he's doing this shit with his fucking hands. He's not trying to rip it out or fight out of it. You're not fucking clubbing him and forcing him to stay in there. And you're just waiting until you're like, okay, eventually they'll start. You have to fucking make them start. You have to make them feel bad for the baby face. Like I tell you, it's like a fucking Rocky movie. You watch a Rocky movie, he's fucking fighting from underneath the whole time. And the people are fucking getting into it, So I see these kids all the time. They're just sitting in a rear chin lock, and they usually do the whisper, and then fucking like we know it's fake. And then what do? Grab it, pick them up, And it's just like, I'm like, guys, this is so. The fans are dead because you're not fucking eliciting them to believe in what we're doing. Like I'm working them in a rear chin. If we need to get up to our feet to do your spot, you can in back. I'm gonna tell them to fight. I'll stop and I'll kick him in the fucking back. And that hit should elicit movement, which hopefully he start working up to his fucking feet so I don't have to pick him up. But I'm like, just listen, they're telling you what the fuck to do. We all know when you do this shit. The fans know when you're going to go to the third one, you're going to fucking do this, and they're waiting for you. I tell them, we all watched wrestling. We know what those cues are, but they don't want to work to get there. They just expect it to happen, this thing, what people say is, it's a lot of these fucking YouTube marks or these key content creators. They say, well, they're not telling a story. So it's taken the form of people telling a story by just talking. They're using their actual words to tell a fucking story. Hey guys, I got him, and he doesn't want this. Oh, this is your guy. This is your guy. That's the one that really fucking gets me. Instead of fucking using your face and your body movements to tell your fucking story. I see it all the time where they'll be down here, they work them right to their spot. I mean, fucking work them, elbow, fucking cut them off again. If you have him down and those fans will start cheering for his name, and you have a spot called, fuck it, we're going to work up, give me some elbows, hit the ropes, fucking take an elbow. Let's get him back down again. Fucking take it again. They're gonna fucking get up again and then call your fucking spot, They just worry about the fucking spot, not the work to get there, because they know when they hit that Canadian destroyer, the fans are going to go, holy shit.
The indie wrestling pile version of the pile driver.
I mean, believe me, like that's me and Vinny's finishers. We do a version of that, so I get it. But that's our finisher. We're not kicking out of that shit. These guys do it for. It's like the fucking. It's been from where it was a punch, was something they would no sell to, then a super kick to now it's a fucking Canadian destroyer that's no sold, and it's sad. But when you see guys do it the right way, it's fucking amazing. And the worst thing is you see guys do it the right way, and the wrestlers are like, oh my god, that's fucking amazing, and marking out for the guy, but then they don't go do it in their match. They go,
Right.
they default to the fucking what's gonna get a pop, what's gonna get a good highlight reel. Oh, let's do this move I saw in Japan, and then they end up breaking somebody's fucking neck. Yeah, it's fucking just yeah. I mean, nobody listens, but with the exception of a few people, nobody's teaching that anymore. Like, I don't know how many other schools you've been to, because I go to a lot of fucking schools and watch these guys. I go to a lot of shows and I've seen people's product, and I'm just thinking like, that's really not that kid's fault. That's his fucking trainer's fault. Like the kid's not doing that because he wasn't fucking told. So it goes back on the trainers, and even my philosophy, even farther than that, it goes on the fucking promoters. If you're hiring a guy who's not doing shit the right way, that's your fault. You got to hire guys that are fucking doing shit the right way, so your lower talent's going to learn. Oh, I got to do it this way. You guys, when you were, I'm exception of maybe Paul because he's so fucking big, but there was always some time where we were in the ring with some vet and we're trying to get up. He's like, no, motherfucker, stay down. Not ready yet. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll stay here, because you're going to get fucking clubbed or something, It's not like that.
I always tell Paul, I say, I don't get it. Some guy asked me the other day, he says, I'm not trying to offend you. I say, you will never offend me. I'm not sensitive at all. The only thing I get offended about is bad training, bad coaching.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And wrestling coaching too. I can give a fuck about nothing else. I care about that. Speaking of Paul, I was talking to Paul, and I don't mean to throw anybody under the bus, and I never do. I'm always very honest with people. I'm glad the lockup thing happened, man. I'm going to harp on that over and over and over because I bitch about it all the time. I'm like, why the fuck are these guys not starting wrestling class out after they stretch out by pairing off and locking up and pushing each other to the ropes and breaking off? Mm-hmm. That's what the 10, 15-minute sweat warm-up should be. It's the first fucking thing we do in the match. Yeah. And if I walk around, what do we do, Gabe, when we meet up with, like, we go to a wrestling show or something? I see Paul, I go, what's up, buddy? Come here. Yeah. I don't walk up to Paul and go, come here, I'm going to fucking Michinoku driver your ass to say hello. I go, come here, let's lock up. And I noticed that, so I've had 2 matches at Paul's, and both guys have been very receptive of what I said. They're both from the same place. But the one thing I noticed when I locked up with both of these guys was it wasn't good, right? Like, same student, same graduating class, the lockup wasn't good. I noticed that when I was beating on them, they would not sell down. So, like, I hang the guy over the top rope and I get my heat with the crowd and it's my cutoff, and I look across the fucking ring and he's 18 feet across the ring on the other side, and he's already on his feet with his arm on the middle rope. I'm like, fuck, dog. I'm like, you're actually taller than me, right? So when I'm the bad guy and I'm beating on you, I need you to sell down.
Yeah.
So A, you can get some sympathy, and B, you look like you're smaller than me. I look more imposing. So, and I've talked to these guys, and I saw the one guy, because it was earlier, he came back and he had worked on that stuff, which is amazing, right? When you tell these kids, hey, sell down, listen, you got to listen here, you got to do this, and then they come back and they fucking did it. But that's what I'm excited about from this thing, man. I'm excited that you're excited, because I can see it in you, and that fucking pumps me up even more too. But what I'm really excited about was when you talked about it, and you talked about the Scoot and Samurai thing, and you talked about what Ollie was doing and what Thatcher was doing. What I really liked was it seemed like they were drawn to the guys that were talking and showing just the simple basics of wrestling. And that is our foundation, man. And if we can get this area back to the simple foundation of that, because I'll tell you right now, at the end of his career, Kobe Bryant wasn't fucking 360 windmill slamming, but he was still a fucking problem,
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much little shit that these guys do nowadays. And, if you're one of my, like I say my kids, but I'm talking about my blood kids, Bishop, Titus, and Abigail or Salem. You get it worse, because if I see fucking something that you do that pisses me off, one of my pet peeves, I'm fucking on your ass. If you kick out weak, I'm fucking on their ass. I'll blow up their phone all day if I watch them on video from some other place kick out shitty, or what a lot of people do is they hit a big move and then they fucking do all this shit like that. I'm like, dude, the guy's fucking down, pin him.
Right.
Go for the pin. And then if he kicks out, then you could fucking do your little bullshit sell. So like I got to the point where Titus, I saw him doing that. And I'm like, he's like, well, blah, blah, my drop kick looks. I said, well, then tell the guy when I drop kick, you fucking roll out of the ring. Roll out of the fucking ring. And then you can fucking gloat a little bit, but now he turns it into a fucking dive out or something anyways. But, these guys they miss those little small things that they see people do, but they're watching the wrong guys do it. They're watching the wrong vets wrestle. That's why I thought the show would be so important, because we could teach this shit till we're blue in the face. But when they go in there and watch Thatcher and MPT go, or fucking Isadora and fucking Vinny go, then they say, oh shit, that's what we just learned in fucking the camp today. We just learned that, and then they see you doing it, and they see it work, and that I thought would make the bell click. Would make it be like, oh fuck, okay, now I get it, because there's a lot of kids who, let's face it, they learn shit. They're like, yeah, and then they go back to the same bullshit. Like I've had kids send me video, hey, can you critique my match? And then I usually try to keep it short on the critiques, because too much is fucking too much stimulus for them. But they'll do the same shit the next 4 times I watch their fucking match. So I just tell them, no, I'm not watching your shit anymore, because you're not fixing it. You're just telling this to appease me. Like, well, I want to get MPTs off so he'll like me, and I'm supposed to because he's a vet. I better ask Paul what he thought of my match, and I just don't have time for that shit. Like, I want kids who are going to fucking try it and learn and, like, actually give a shit about not just their career, but the business, and making shit better, and, there's enough companies out there that do joke wrestling and shit. The psychology doesn't matter, but I just can't teach that way. I never will be able to, like there's stuff that I still need to work on as a trainer and doing stuff. But there's things I think I do really well. And it's usually right along the lines of making shit look real, believable,
Right. I see Zack laughing because the last couple times I've had someone send me a match, he gets on me because he's like, you're being too fucking brutal on these guys.
Oh man,
because and it's not a way for me to be like trying to be an asshole, but it's like just trying to point out the things, right? Like, you think you're doing so many things that are really great, but in reality, there's so many holes in the game, right? Yeah. And the goal is still just the same old thing. Is like, fix something, right? Yeah. I'm going to give you a bunch of stuff that's not working well for you, but fix something. That's kind of what Zach's talking about. It's like you tell somebody some stuff, and then when you see them come back the next time and they fix something that you talked to them about, I always think that's kind of the sign that this guy's trying to get better. And I think about like conversations that I've had with Vinny, and obviously sometimes it's like he comes off as a dick, but if you listen to what he's saying rather than how he's saying it to you, it makes sense of the things that he's telling you to do. So I feel like I grew so much just listening to, little tidbits that he would give me, and trying to put them into practice. So, I feel like that's what we're trying to pass on to the younger guys, right? We're saying, hey, this didn't look realistic, or, my big thing is the whole like concept of, hey, you're going to give me 3 moves, then I'm going to give you 3 moves. But when I'm on offense, I'm not selling the fact that you were just kicking my ass for a few minutes, right? You don't sell the fact of, now you're Superman and you're just, you don't feel any of the pain that you just went through for the last couple of minutes of this guy beating on you. So that's always the thing that's like, we talk about, offensive selling, right? I'm still showing that you punched me in the face, or whatever it is, as simplistic as that sounds. But trying to do that. But I'm watching Zack like snickering over there, and I know exactly what's going on. You're being a dick to these guys. Stop being so fucking harsh.
Well, nobody from, like I always say, this current generation, especially if they're working matches, wants to be critiqued. When they ask you to critique their match, they want you to tell them how good they are.
Of course,
they want to pop you, And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I tell everybody, look at who my son Titus is, and look at Abigail. Like, look what the shit they do in the ring. I'm not gonna pop for your little fucking bullshit that you're doing, because they do some really fucking innovative shit. you know. So I'm not gonna pop for any little fucking move you stole from fucking somebody, you know. I had one kid come in and we were working and he grabs this guy and he punches him and then he starts selling his hand, right? Grabs and punches him again. He's selling his hand again. And I was like, okay, I see somebody told you along the lines about selling the offense. I go, but if you just hit somebody in the fucking head and your hand's hurting, why would you throw a fucking punch again? And then again, and then 4 more fucking times. Common sense would say, oh, that fucking hurts. I'm not doing it again. It's like if you're a little kid and the stove's on and you touch, you're like, oh, fuck. Guess what? I'm not going to touch the fucking stove again because it's hot. But these guys, so they kind of got some coaching along the way or kind of picked it up. But I was just telling you, you can't fucking keep doing the same thing if it fucking hurts. You know, I have guys do the same thing. They'll keep hitting the same fucking move, you know, over and over again. And what's my finisher? Well, I mean, if you didn't pin him with it, if he kicked out, it's probably not a fucking finisher then. I mean, there's other ways we can put it in, you know, but they're just trying shit they saw or they kind of think they know or, you know, somebody kind of told them, but they never want to be told they're doing shit wrong. You know, usually when you tell them they're doing something, or I wouldn't even say wrong, just something that you think they can change. They're like, yeah, okay. Or they do this. Well, I only did that because of this. Or this guy told me to do this. Shut the fuck up. Just say, okay, I'm going to work on this and try to get it better. You know, even if you just humor me and then don't try it and never talk to me fucking again, I don't care. But if you're going to ask my opinion on something, just fucking take it, you know. And I'm not saying shit to make you a worse wrestler. You know, I'm saying shit to make you better. Why? Because I got kids coming up in the business and I want it to be better, you know. The other pet peeve I have, and I had to get in a bitch session here, but is you get fucking
please.
I was like, join the fucking crowd, man. That's being Zach's common conversation is a bitch fest.
You get guys who,
hey, baby.
You get guys who like, I'll tell them, hey, you should do it this way, and they do the old, oh well, so and so likes it, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm like, well, you know, who's so and so? Well, it's my friend, and you know, or these girls saw it and they liked it. Like, well. I mean, I have fucking 30 years experience in this fucking business. You might want to take my opinion on it, you know, like, but they want to take somebody else's opinion or they push the buck off on somebody else. And I just don't have time for that shit, dude. Like, I don't have time for how good you think you are, or you're going to make an excuse on why you did this or whatever, you know? And I'm like, I told one guy a few months back, if your trainer's telling you to do that, then you're fucking doing it. Then you're with the wrong trainer, you know, because that's fucking wrong. It's unsafe. You're not fucking doing the shit right, you know? But they don't want to hear it because why? They're on shows already. So what do I know? You know, like they think I'm an old fart that's hating people. I said, no, it's fucking wrong. You know, I'm sorry, it's fucking wrong. You're tackling, like, if you're wrestling shows already, I don't see how you can do a shoulder tackle wrong. Like, it's fucking beyond me. That's next to the headlock. One of the most basic moves you learn is everybody does a fucking shoulder tackle. These guys have their arms straight, you know, and they're fucking all over the fucking, and they're just barreling into fucking each other. And I'm just like, guys, like, dude, you need to fucking get recoached. But they don't want to hear that, you know. They just want to hear, like, you know.
Let me tell you my biggest pet peeve, Gabe. And this is my biggest pet peeve. And I can't fucking stand it. I tell my guys, we drill that tackle and we drill turning around, clinching off it and take. Why would you bring a grown man off why would you be in the middle of the fucking ring and walk a grown man 9 feet back to the rope? Bring him 9 feet back off the rope to the middle of the ring where you just started. Shoot him another 9 feet off of you and wait for him to come back to you. That's 36 total feet in an 18 fucking foot ring. Yeah. I tell these guys this. They say, as a coach, and this can go for everybody too, tell me what you want. Like, what do you want? Do you want to wrestle locally? Do you want to go to Japan? Do you want to be a big star? Because you have to tell me what your expectations are of where you want to go. And if you say you want to go to the top, then I'm going to ride your ass like a fucking mule all the way to the end. And they say, what does it take? I say, it takes everything you got for as long as it takes. That's what it takes to get to the top, man. Everything you got till you fucking get there. And it's that's all we can do as coaches when we're coaching these guys is, oh, you're just cool wrestling here? Okay, cool. Well, then I'm going to show you my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now that along the lines of that tackle, I was doing this seminar and the kid does that in his little spot thing, and I'm like, why are you just standing there? He's like, well, I'm taking a tackle. I go, yeah, but when you in the psychology of wrestling, why would you whip him off? Well, because he called a tackle. I'm like, yeah, but like, and I couldn't explain to him like, no, you have to be like attacking him, like you whip him off and then you come into it. There has to be a reason why you whipped him off the fucking rope. You didn't whip him off the rope so he could hit you. You know, and even when I do the most basic one, I say, okay, why are you dropping down? Well, because he called a drop down. I go, no, but what's the purpose of a drop down? Well, you drop down so he can jump over you. I'm like, no, you're trying to trip him. That's what a fucking drop down is. You're trying to trip him, but now we use it as a fucking a feed through spot. But I'm like, but they don't grasp the concept. They don't fucking grasp the concept that every move you do, it's supposed to be doing something. You know, when a guy counters a move, it's because you're going for something and he counters it. You know, I just get so fucking just pissed off that I'm like, I just can't. You don't know what you're doing. You don't whip somebody off to take a tackle. You're taking a tackle, but you have to be attacking. You have to be some kind of move, and they just don't fucking get it. And then I look back at who their trainer is, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I know why you fucking do it that way, because your fucking trainer doesn't know what he's doing. You know, I'm going up to Oregon this weekend, and I'm doing going to the prestige shows. Then I'm going to go to Ricky Gibson's school, Performance Heat school, because you know they have like fucking a 6,000-foot warehouse and like fucking 80 students. They're tearing it up. But I want to see I want to see how they're doing shit. You know, just because they're at a higher place than I am as far as getting students in. And then I'm going to SOS in Seattle the next day, which is Ethan HD school, and I'm gonna see what they're doing and stuff up there. But when I work with Ricky's kids, I expect them to be like just fucked up because they're greenhorns, but they have fucking fundamentals off the charts. They're just because that's how Ricky does his shit, you know. So it's always refreshing to go to some places like that where kids know what the fuck they're doing. And I tell them like, do this, and they do it, and it's right. And I'm like, oh fuck, why did you? I expect them to do it wrong, and they just get it right, you know. So I really get frustrated doing some stuff with other companies, but when I always go and I get the chance to work with kids who know what the fuck's going on, it's a breath of fresh air. You know, I know that at any point I can say, Ricky, send me 4 kids. I don't give a fuck who they are. He's going to send me 4 good kids, you know. Some other places, I'm like, oh, fuck. What do I do with this guy? Hey, guess what? You're getting squashed tonight because you can't do much.
Ain't that the best, though? Ain't that the best when you ask another place to send you some guys? You know, when I was doing the prospect show, or even when we did the Young Lions Cup, it's like, hey, send me your 2 best guys that are young and ready, or send me some guys for the show. And then these guys show up, and you see them, and you're like, what the fuck just happened here?
Yeah.
What in God's name? And Paul, by the way, I went to show him something last show, and he was out by the truck, and I did the old, hey, let's lock up so I can show you what happened. And that motherfucker grabbed me in an overhook, and it was tight. He'd been out of the ring a while because he grabbed me in an overhook, and it was a little fucking stiff, by the way, Paul.
Hey, you know what? I've always taken pride that there's no holes in my work, buddy. So I apologize. I apologize for tugging on your shoulder and putting you in a bad position, but I was just trying to prove a point. You know?
Oh, I just felt like a moose had grabbed a hold of me. You know what I mean? Like I knew I had been gotten, man. But Gabe, that's awesome. When I see stuff like that, because I watch your the YouTube and I watch your reels, man, and you're just like us. You're always preaching. You're coaching.
Yeah.
You're coaching to everybody out there, hoping that they're going to watch this, right? And they're going to take something from it. And when these guys do, even if we get one guy, to take something that we're saying and implement it into the game, then I guess we're doing our job to leave pro wrestling in NorCal better than we found it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think NorCal's in a good spot right now for the most part. I think there's enough quality people doing training that it's going to continue to grow. But, you know, there's always some people who are just happy working at the flea market every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. But you could at least do it the right way, you know, and be safe and fucking make your shit look good, you know. I wish there was a quality control in indie wrestling, you know. And I've done some shit in the past where I got blown and fucking I was a little bit lazy, but I was at least trying to be safe and do shit the right way, you know. I tell everybody, like, when I used to work Isadora, like, one of my favorite guys to work, we had 2 different matches, me babyface, me heel, and I'm a heel. I'll duck behind him and I beat the fuck out of him and I tell him no sell me. And I just fucking hit him. And he turns me around and fucking chops the shit out of me. And I fucking sell away, take chops. But it's the same fucking basic shit every time. But these kids just don't fucking understand that there's certain levels of this shit and they need to do what they can to be the best wrestler they can. They don't want to take those steps. They just want to go right to, I've been wrestling 5 years. Yeah, but you're still not good at 5 years. You know, like you're wrestling in front of 40 people because your product's not good. So you should at least be the best you can, yourself technically sound. So at least you're good. But, you know, when you do shit the right way, as you guys see for PCW shows, crowds are fucking huge. You know, and it's fucking awesome to see. And when I watch your guys' stuff and I'm seeing fucking, you guys are like in the Redwoods or whatever, and there's fucking packed. I'm like, holy shit. You know, this is an indie shit around here. Yeah, you know, but it's when stuff is, and not just the wrestling, but the promoting's done the right way. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see, and I think there's going to be more companies like that coming up doing shit the right way. You know,
I was very happy. Like a lot of my guys have been getting work with Paul, and I've been working with Paul's guys a lot. But I've been very happy that Paul's product is growing. You know what I mean? Like I just walked out the curtain at the last show, and the audience had doubled, man. Like and going to these different towns. So I feel like wrestling is hitting a hot space again, and I don't just mean wrestling all over.
Yeah.
We talk about the area. I feel like the area is really growing. Yeah, the NorCal United seminar proved that with, like you said, 50 people came out. What's going to happen next year?
Yeah.
Bigger building, more rings.
Yeah.
If this thing can expand, and that's the thing I heard you talking about too, was expanding the guys that you're bringing in. Like you're going down to Oregon. I saw that Oregon Pro Wrestling School's tryout the other day.
Yeah.
There was like 100 fucking people at the open tryout. Could you imagine that? Like, I'd be jerking off everywhere if I walked into my building and I was like, oh, it's living the dream today. Maybe I'll get 6 to 10 people, and there's a fucking 100 people out there.
Well,
I literally would go to the bathroom and finish myself off multiple times, Gabe.
Well, the funniest thing with the Oregon wrestling schools, they don't even run shows. Most companies that running shows is their draw. Like, well, we have a company run shows monthly, blah blah. They don't even run shows. Their students get work everywhere else. They just are a straight wrestling school, and I'm like, it just fucking befuddles me that. I mean, I'm not at a loss for words on why they're so good, because Ricky and Eddie Pearl are fucking legit. They're so fucking good. But just the fact that they found a way to promote this shit the right way, and that's something people haven't been doing in a long time. You know, they have the most power, probably the biggest wrestling school on the West Coast, you know, and they haven't been doing it that long, you know, so it's amazing to see them do that. And like I said, just the product they put out, they have some talented people in there, you know, that they're putting out. And it's like I said, I'm so happy for Ricky. When he was Cosmic River, as me and Paul know him back in the day, he was a little guy, just fucking 18-year-old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he started when he was 15.
No, I remember Cosmic River. I didn't know that. Hey,
met
make room in the car, Gabe. We're coming. Road trip.
Right, no shit.
I met him in Oregon. I was wrestling at an outside show under a fucking bridge, and he was like a ring crew guy, and we became friends and kind of known him all. And see where he's at now, to see him surpass me, I'm like, holy fuck, Ricky. So I'm gonna go pick his ear and see what the fuck he's doing that nobody in North California is doing. Like, if we get a camp of fucking 10 kids, we're like, holy shit, we're the best company in fucking Northern California. 10 students is a fucking bad week for that guy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing to see, man, where they're going.
Well, he had that spot, right? He was like Randy Orton's partner or something on SmackDown or whatever it was.
When WWE comes to Portland, they go to his place to film their vignettes and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
He knows everybody, and he fucking works his ass off, and he's just a fucking good dude. Like, he's one of the guys, a few guys that I say he deserves what he's got, you know, because he's such a fucking nice person. You know, he's not. Sometimes you see these guys that dumb luck their way onto a good building or some shit like that. Ricky deserves everything he has because he's worked his ass off, you know. So.
Oh, and I just remember him telling me that he felt bad that he was doing that as a job. He felt bad telling people I'm running a wrestling school as my sole income. And I was like, dude, don't fucking feel bad about that. You worked your ass off
proud
to
of
make that happen, dude. Yeah, I'm so proud and just
And like, there's not a lot of people that can say that. You know, that's my job is training people to wrestle. I don't run shows. I don't do nothing else. Like, yeah, it's awesome. He's just a good dude, man. I'm so happy for that guy. You know.
Fuck yeah. Paul,
you gotta close her
Gabe,
down,
you got
man.
anything?
You got 15 seconds.
What's
Shut
coming
her
up,
down,
Gabe?
Zach.
Well, what's coming up? What do you got real quick?
When is this gonna air?
It was on Friday.
Friday.
So I don't think you want to. You don't want to unveil your news because this is going to go out 7 a.m. Friday morning.
Cool things coming up. I got a new trainer coming in, and also a couple other things that we got going on that we're going to announce Friday. But yeah, that's really bad. I mean, we got shows scheduled. Fucking, we're here in West Sac at the bar monthly, and we got some other stuff going on. Like I said, I'm
Well,
going
we ain't gonna spoiler alert you tonight or tomorrow. So I mean, you could give us the rub and drop a little nugget for us right here to boost up subscriptions, brother. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
I'll say this, that I got, for the first time ever in my history as a wrestling trainer promoter company, I have somebody coming in to solely train refs, who's pretty efficient and pretty well known for being a referee, a guy whose job is to do ref and stuff. So he's going to come in and coach my referees for me. Any referee in the area is going to come down, but like I said, we'll get more into that later. And then, you know, I'm still trying to fucking bait Oliver John into coming back more, you know, trying to suck him in a little bit, you know, but he's Ollie. So
I'll talk to him because I got a little something to settle with you, Oliver John. I got a little something to settle with you. You still got to get in the ring with Zack Reeb. And there's one guy I still got to get in the ring with you because I never get to show my detail and my technical prowess. And I want you, Tim Thatcher. I want you. I was supposed to wrestle him at the fucking NorCal Hall of Fame in Pacifica. And I had to pull off that show because of marital problems. And Cobb slid on in there, and I got that's my bucket list match, and I don't want to run off them ropes, but I'll be waiting Friday for this. We could go an extra 2.5 hours here tonight, but you know, thank you, man. Thank you for putting that on. I'm glad that was very successful for you, and I can't wait to see the next one. And I'm going to make sure I'm a part of it. Paul, you got anything closing out here?
Nothing going on, man. Next couple episodes, I'm sure we'll start talking about some charity show we have coming up, but we'll wait. So
I got so much going on.
I'm taking a month off of I'm trying to take a month off the NorCal United stuff, and then I'm going to get back on it. So we'll have the date at least 10 months ahead of time.
Oh, well.
I'm hoping NorCal goes dark that day, and we can just do everybody together for one show.
I got 19 shows booked. I don't get a break for a long time. It's out of control. You know what? NorCal Wrestling's growing. Thank you to our boy, the Big Ugly. Gabe, man, it was great. I'm glad that was successful for you. And here we go, NorCal. We're motherfucking growing. And if you don't like what we say, if you think we're talking about you, oh, we fucking are. And if you don't like that, respectfully is what we say on here. Respectfully. I'm Zack Primetime Reeb. He's the Wrecking Ball Paul Isadora. That's the Big Ugly. If you want to get the scoop and you want to learn how to pro wrestle, hit some motherfuckers up. And please, please, please don't be a D-bag and subscribe to the Going Over podcast. Thank you and have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.